evening and welcome to 16 by 9, The Bigger Picture. I'm Mary Garofalo. Angels and demons. It may be Hollywood's newest thriller to hit the big screen, but there's a real-life version going on right now. The Vatican is recruiting exorcists. These demon-fighting priests are being handpicked and trained in a special exorcism course offered in Rome. Tonight, 16 by 9 takes you there.
I'm a fallen angel. I had to save my son and send myself to hell.
They are the haunting last words of a psychotic mother who's convinced her son is possessed by Satan, and she alone can save him.
God's turned me into the Antichrist.
This past April, 44-year-old Marie Moore lured her 20-year-old son to the shooting range. Security cameras captured the gruesome murder. As he steps up to the line to shoot, his mother calmly places the pistol to the back of his head and fires. The unstable mother then takes the gun and kills herself, but not before leaving this chilling suicide recording.
But I had to save my son and send myself to hell for what I've done. I screwed everything up for us. When you made me a queen, God tried to make me a queen too. And you're really a king. I'm a fallen angel.
And in Cambridge, Ontario, this precious little 2-year-old, Kira Canhoto, was murdered by her grandmother while her mother watched on. The two believed the toddler was controlled by some demonic force. They poured holy water down her throat for 2 days until the child drowned to death. And in London, Ontario, this shy 19-year-old, Walter Zepeda, was strapped to a metal chair by his parents. He was deprived of food and water for 7 days to help rid him of the devil. Walter died of dehydration. It is shocking cases like this where people have taken exorcism into their own hands that's caused grave concerns for the Vatican. This and the Pope's fear for the growing occult are the reasons for a direct order to bishops around the world demanding they select and train an exorcist for every single diocese. Father Makuri Yunan is a veteran exorcist. He's been battling the devil for 32 years. Many aspiring exorcists from around the world have apprenticed alongside him. Every Friday, thousands of Christians and some Muslims pour into his church in Cairo, drawn by his power to exorcise demons. People come from thousands of miles away to watch him, and his services are broadcast over the internet. Many Canadians and Americans watch his exorcisms weekly. Father Yunan has his critics. Some say these possessed parishioners are fakes. Others say they are mentally unstable. But this video at times is unquestionably eerie.
I did see a few cases that were quite violent, and these had, where the voice changed and you hear this gruff demonic voice. And I would really describe it in a few instances, it was very uncanny to me. It just didn't sound like a voice a human could make. And the other thing on top of that is the amount of suffering that these individuals are going through.
Matt Baglio is an author who lives in Rome. He has personally witnessed 20 exorcisms after learning about the Vatican's shortage of exorcists and the Pope's mandate to recruit a God squad to fight the devil. Matt was allowed rare access to a special course offered by the Vatican to train exorcists, hand-picked priests from around the world. He's written about it in a newly released book called The Rite.
I did think it was a PR stunt. Did the church still believe in things like exorcism? I found it sort of hard to believe. I was very skeptical myself. It was, in a sense, very open to the media. And I think that was a goal that they had, was to sort of bring exorcism out from out of the shadows.
Matt admits what he witnessed changed him as a person.
I was raised Catholic, but I didn't have any views towards exorcism. In fact, when I began the book, I wasn't really a practicing Catholic. But these people are going through an immense, intense amount of suffering. I mean, we're talking arms out, the legs out, shaking. And it's just very violent. And at the end of these 20 minutes of being prayed over, they're very exhausted. So these can be very trying experiences for these individuals. And for that reason, I think it, in my mind, really stuck out as being something that I found very hard to fake.
Matt says the course is part religion and part science, involving more than just prayer, but psychiatry as well.
According to the ritual, the exorcist has to be morally certain that the person he's praying over is not suffering from mental illness. Now, many symptoms of mental illness are exactly the same as the symptoms that exorcists say are clues to the presence of the demon. The exorcist typically will screen people through a psychiatrist.
He says the Vatican hopes to prevent horrifying incidents like this from happening by having people ask the church for help rather than taking matters into their own hands.
These instances where people turn the concept of exorcism into murder are definitely the cases where the church and exorcists themselves are really trying to say this is not the official approach of the church. This is completely the wrong way to go about performing an exorcism. And through the course, and really the exorcists themselves are trying to educate priests about the way to go about praying the ritual, about how it is a prayer, it's not violent.
And while getting access to the Vatican's exorcism class, Matt was impressed by an eager recruit. Father Gary Thomas was handpicked by his bishop to train here.
Father Gary really he stood out right away. He explained to me that he'd been nominated, and so I really saw in him a chance to enter into this world of exorcism through the eyes of somebody just getting started. This was an individual who, before he became a priest, he was an embalmer. He had a lot of experiences with really with touching people and suffering and these kinds of things. He had experience in his own life when he had fallen off a cliff, nearly died, and so he really had this understanding of suffering and trying to help people.
And so Matt followed Father Thomas's progress from apprentice priest to graduate exorcist.
I very much believe in the personification of evil. There is a being whom the scriptures refer to as Satan or Lucifer, who is a real being.
Meet the Exorcist.
Next on 16 by 9.
Most priests want nothing to do with this because demons will attack the exorcist. I'm not afraid.
If you have a story for 16 by 9, call our tip line